Hey everyone, Coach Only here. I'm the esports head coach at Ottawa University, and today we're going to be talking jobs in esports. So a lot of people really want a job in esports right now, and it makes sense. Video games are really popular, esports is really cool, and so to get to work in it seems like a dream come true for a lot of people. And it can be extremely rewarding. Obviously, I want to see everyone go on to have a career that they truly love. And so if I can help with esports, then that makes me feel good. With that said, it's a very competitive field. It is not particularly easy to get a job in esports. You have to put in a lot more work, and in some cases a lot more time, to get a successful career in esports versus other industries. So in this video, I want to cover two of the main things when it comes to getting a job in esports, and that would be networking and job sites. So let's talk networking. I talk about this a lot, and usually it's pertaining to becoming a influencer, streamer, YouTuber, something like that, but I'll talk a little bit more professionally about networking right now. So the two best ways that you can actually network as a gamer right now are Twitter and LinkedIn. Primarily LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very underutilized by kids, especially if you're in college. People don't realize that LinkedIn is actually a very popular social media. It's a very popular social media network, and it's very easy to connect with some of the people that you probably never thought you could have a conversation with. To be successful on LinkedIn takes a little bit of time. You have to grow your network organically at first, and so I recommend getting into it earlier rather than later. However, there's a lot of esports professionals on LinkedIn that are using it pretty regularly. So it's a very important tool, especially if you're in college right now. If you can connect with 300 of the college esports coaches in the country, and let's say that's the job that you want, well, in 2 to 3 years when you're graduating college, the people that you networked with 3 years ago that were running esports programs have probably been promoted or are maybe trying to hire more coaches to their program. So that opens up a ton of opportunities for you. The same goes for any job you want to get into. If you want to be a social media manager or coordinator for an esports team, you should be on LinkedIn and try to connect with every single person that's involved in social media management within the professional scene of esports. And again, in 2 or 3 years when you're ready to graduate, those people have probably been promoted to different roles. Creative directors, director of esports, maybe they moved to marketing, maybe they work for a different company now. Who knows, who cares? The point is, if you're connected with them now, it's going to open up a ton of opportunities in the future. If you're going to be using LinkedIn in this capacity though, you need to be making sure that you're building your brand on LinkedIn. And what I mean is, you should be posting like once a week at least, things about esports, articles you find, anything and everything to show the world that you're interested and that you're educated about this topic. Because I promise the people that you're connected with will see it, will follow it, and it'll start to make you look like a really good, clear candidate for when you're ready to enter the workforce. You also can find jobs on LinkedIn, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So that's like the number one way to network in the esports scene. The second one, like I mentioned, is Twitter. Twitter is really good for this sort of stuff. You can follow and add anyone that you would like on Twitter. They might not always add you back, but if you're constantly engaging with them, so if you follow them and you reply to a ton of their tweets and you're very active, they're going to know who you are. Even some of the largest accounts on Twitter, if you are regularly interacting with every single one of their posts, I promise you they probably know who you are. And you can do the same thing to slowly make yourself a really good candidate as an employee down the road. If you know the hiring manager at 100 Thieves, engage with all of his stuff, get him to notice you, also connect with him on LinkedIn, he sees all of your stuff, and then all of a sudden an application comes through with your name on it, that's going to put you in a separate pile. That's going to make you stand out from the thousands of other applications that they get. So you can use Twitter to properly network within the esports scene. Now let's talk job websites in esports. I'm going to hit on 3. I already touched on LinkedIn a little bit, but I'll dive into it a little bit more. Employers use LinkedIn to hire people. That's originally what LinkedIn was for. It's much more of a social media platform now, But at the end of the day, it's used for a recruitment tool. There's a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn. They use it to find people to work for them. And a lot of esports companies still use it to post jobs. So you can find out about a lot of jobs at a lot of major gaming companies like FaZe, Optic, 100 Thieves, TSM. All of these companies have job postings on LinkedIn. I've looked, I've checked, I know they're there. So you can find out about a lot of opportunities through LinkedIn. The next one's a website I've talked about before, which is called hitmarkerjobs.com. This is a website and recruiting platform just for esports. So every single job posting is related to video games and esports in some capacity, whether it be a product that's entering it for a team, a game developer, anything relating to the field of like video games and esports, there's a job for it there. Now what you can use this website for, Hitmarker Jobs, is to start getting a better idea of what the industry is asking for when it comes to requirements. So if you click through 2 or 3 jobs and you read the requirements section and they're all saying the same thing, it gives you a good idea that that's what these employers are trending towards for candidates. So if you're in high school or if you're in college right now, you can use that to your advantage to be able to start preparing your resume, landing job opportunities or internships or anything and everything to start building your resume to mimic what those jobs look like. That's going to make you stand out and be an excellent candidate for those jobs. The final website I want to talk about is just Indeed.com. Indeed is still very, very popular for, just a very popular job posting site, but I still see a lot of esports jobs posted on there. When I was hired as an esports coach here, Indeed was actually where I went to put in my application for here. Indeed is still very popular among employers, and so it's still a very good platform to use. However, you can use that one a little bit more loosely, especially like I would use Indeed more if you're like a senior in college or trying to enter the workforce sooner rather than later. I think the long-term plays are better done on LinkedIn and maybe Hitmarker, but that's just my personal preference. At the end of the day though, you're still going to need to build your resume with the word esports on it. In my head, there's 4 levels of involvement that anyone can do to start building that portfolio to land a job in esports. First one is clubs. High school clubs, college clubs, anything at the club level will at least put the word esports on your resume. The next step up is being part of a college varsity esports program. That looks really good right now, and a lot of employers are starting to ask for that on resumes. Next step up from there would be to be a volunteer for a club, program, tournament organizer, or someone in the esports space. The next step would be an actual internship with a gaming company or esports company, esports tournament hoster. Anything that's actually paying you to be esports would obviously be the next step. And then from there, once you have, usually it's going to take about 2 years of experience through that realm before your resume is going to start standing out to be a candidate for an esports job. So it's not a quick journey, and if you're watching this as a younger kid, you're at a much better advantage because the industry is only going to continue to grow, and you're seeing this video so you know what you need to start working on now to better prepare you to stand out in the future. Other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Tomorrow I will be talking about how to grow your brand in gaming and esports on Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that. I'm gonna be going over some tips and tricks for branding and development. And then I'll end off the week with a Q&A based off of questions I get off of like TikTok and stuff. So other than that, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.